Hi guys, welcome to our second session for week 4. How are you guys doing today? Today we're going to go through the assessment, which only has 2 tasks on it, and it's tasks that you've already completed on the assignment. So you shouldn't have any trouble getting that created and done. I seem to be having a bit of a issue with, there it comes. My SQL didn't want to open for me. There we go. Okay, we got it out and we're ready to go. We're going to go over the assessment first. And then all of you should have received an email for me about activating your free web hosting service. We are going to go through that and look at the directions, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that's about and how it's going to affect you. So once again, the assessment is a memo from Regal Theaters. It says, Regal Theaters is satisfied with the results we have seen to date. We do have 3 final requests. First, Regal Theaters is looking for a list of the movies that include the director and stars of each movie. Second, Regal Theaters wants to be able to search for a movie title without worrying about the case sensitivity of the title. Our last request is to be able to search for a movie without concern for the case sensitivity in its title. Please deliver your demonstration of these queries by the end of the week. Upon successful completion of the demonstration, Regal Theaters will sign off on our initial contract with DB Solutions. We hope to continue working with you in the future. And your first task is, Regal Theaters also wants to be able to search for a movie title without worrying about case sensitivity. For example, the query select asterisk from movie where title equals Jaws returns no data found. Since the title of the movie is stored in the database as Jaws, not all caps Jaws. You did this for your assessment. This is where we're going to use that upper keyword. Code syntax is select, and then the column name, which is going to be an asterisk. It's a generic select statement, guys. You're just going to add a where clause to that generic select statement. So you're going to say select asterisk from, which table are we working with? The movie table, right? From movie, where upper, and in parentheses, you're going to put Jaws. Where you're going to put title equals, and in between single quotes, you're going to put Jaws. And then it's going to return something. It should return the correct movie title. But let's take a look at it. My SQL has been really slow today. There's my Colonial database. There's my Regal Theaters. Double click it so it's highlighted in bold. And there's my tables, and we're going to be working with that movie table. So we would say select asterisk from movie where upper title equals Jaws. And let's see what we get. And there it is. So we know that works. It's just a simple matter of adding that upper keyword and putting the column name in between parentheses. That way, no matter what they put in that search term, I could capitalize Jaws and search it, and it will pull up that data every single time. But if I don't, and I just do title, In MySQL, it's going to pull it up anyway because MySQL is case sensitive. But if you were to upload this to your web hosting service and use it, it wouldn't. So you have to use that upper there. Now, let's take a look at task 2. For each movie list, its title and first and last name of the director and stars associated with the movie, Regal Theaters would like the name shown as first name, followed by last name. In addition, they want the header for the name columns to be director name and star name. For your results, you should match the following 8 records with the exception that the order of your records may be different from that shown. The order of the results is dependent upon how the data was inserted into the database initially. Okay, so we are working on, let's see, in reality, we are working on 2 different tables. We need to, let's take a look at our tables because director table, does it show the stars? Director ID, nope, we get the first name and last name. And then we have our star table, star ID, first and last name, but it's our movie star table that actually combines the 2, right? Yeah, because we get the movie ID and the star ID. So we have to combine those. So this is going to be a little bit of a complicated join, so to speak. So we're going to do select and concat. Remember, we learned that yesterday. And we're going to do director dot first underscore name, comma, single quote, space, single quote, comma, and director dot last name as 1. And comma, once again, we're going to go concat. And in between parentheses, this time it's going to be star. Where would be star? There's my star table. And we're going to go star dot first name, comma, single quote, space, single quote, comma, star dot last name. And we're going to say from movie, comma, star, comma, movie star, where movie star dot, let's see my columns again, movie star dot movie, except it's not movie ID, and the star table is called FR movie ID equals movie dot movie ID. And movie star dot FR underscore star underscore ID equals star dot star ID. The director name shows the rules of it. Okay. List the title. List its title and first and last name of the director table. And there's the movie table. There's my columns. Movie ID is in that table too. And comma director. Does the movie table have a star ID? No, yes, it has a director ID and it has a movie ID. And the star table has a star ID. So let's see, we want the director's name and the star name and the movie title. Comma, movie title. Okay, so in reality, this one needs to be changed because the movie table it should say movie dot director underscore ID equals director dot director underscore ID. And then the movie star FR equals star ID. Let's run this and see what kind of results we get. Oh, I've got something wrong. Oh, right. Oh, that's a period. Should be a comma. There we go. Now let's see what we get. Okay, we've got Ron Howard, Tom Hanks, Apollo 13, Tom Hanks, Jaws, and there's the stars' first and last name, and the director first and last name, and there's the title. Now, it tells us that we need to change the name of our columns. So I'm going to go back up here to my code. And after these parentheses, I'm going to do as director underscore ID and the star name. Director underscore name. And this should be as star underscore name. Oops. As. There we go. There's our director name. There's our star name. There is our title. So Tom Hanks played in, did Tom Hanks really play in all of those? Select asterisk from movie star. Movie 1 is E.T. But just to be certain, we're going to say select star from movie Apollo 13. Is movie ID 1. Okay, so Apollo 13 is 1. So let's go back here. And it has 1, 2, 3. 3 actors. And let's see who the stars are. Oops. Select. Tom Hanks is 1. So according to this, Tom Hanks did play in Apollo 13. So yes, it shows he played in Jaws too. Let's look and see if that's right. Jaws is movie 2. Now for movie 2, I don't see a number 1. So that means we've got erroneous data coming through here. So how do we fix that? Let's think about this. We've got our movie director ID equals director ID, and movie star FR star ID equals star ID, and movie underscore star dot FR director underscore ID equals director underscore ID. Movie star FR. Where's my movie star table? It's the star ID and movie ID, so it's not a director ID. Equals, so this should be movie underscore ID. In my director table, my movie table. So this should say movie. Movie ID. There we go. Ta-da! And now we're not getting erroneous data. And if we look, Tom Hanks is number 1. He only played in 1 movie. We have 1 star that played in multiple movies here, which is number 4. Who is number 4? Richard Dreyfuss. Let's go back here and see if he's on our list. Richard Dreyfuss. So yes, now we are getting correct information. We just needed to cross-reference that movie star movie ID with the movie table movie ID. And then our data pulls up correct. So let's see if we can cut this so that you guys can see it all. There it is. There is the completed code. That's a lot of code to pull up that bit of information, but that's the way it works. And that's the only way you're going to get all of that information combined. So not only have you joined several tables, you've also combined several columns. And that, guys, is the end of your assessment. Just make sure you take plenty of screenshots that shows your code and the results. But you've already done everything the assessment is asking you to do in either the assignment this week or the assignment last week. But there is the example for you to look at. You're just going to follow the same setup and check your column names and tables names, make sure they're correct compared to what your actual column names and stuff are for each one of these tables. They may not match mine. Make sure you're checking your column names. You just click on the little arrow next to it and you say, okay, yep, that was director ID. But what about your movie star table? Does yours say FR movie ID or does it just say movie ID? Those are the things you're going to have to check, and then make sure you're not getting erroneous data. Jaws had 2, ET has 2, and Close Encounters has. We don't have a Terry Garr, do we? Yes, we do. He's number 7. Why isn't he showing up anywhere? He is not in our database. So he's not going to show up. He may be in your database. He's not in mine. So he doesn't show up in mine. He's probably in yours. So you're going to have 2 for Close Encounters 2. Turn in your results. Once you've done your SQL, I'm going to take that screenshot and just paste it in the Word document like you have been doing all month long. And then you guys are good to go. I hope you've learned a little bit about SQL. Be sure you hold on to any notes because you are going to be taking a second class on SQL where you're going to be using the same type of SQL that you learned this class. You're just going to be applying it to an actual database that you create from scratch that you will be uploading to your web hosting service and programming it to use with PHP on a website so that users can pull information. So you are going to be, in the second class, you are going to be completing a project that you would do as a real world web designer. That you would do something in your professional career. So that will definitely be a portfolio project. Be sure you hang on to your notes. The PDF I sent you will come in very, very handy. So hang on to all that stuff. Make sure you save it so that you can go back to it and review it when you get to that class. It'll make things a whole lot easier. Okay, guys, now, as I was saying earlier, all of you should have received an email from me about registering for your free web hosting for students account that the school is supplying you with. The school is now giving you a free web hosting account, which is totally awesome. You're going to be using it a lot in your web design classes now. We have written it into most of them. And since Graphic Arts is taking over, we have actually rewritten some of the classes and kind of changed some of the stuff so that you guys are getting more portfolio stuff than you were before. So you are going to be utilizing this web hosting service a lot. So I want you to be sure that you get registered and you do it correctly. I'm going to open up our directions here. And that's the first thing. Attached to that email I sent you was a PDF that had instructions. If you cannot find your email, you need to email me and let me know. There is a walkthrough, step by step, on what you need to do. It tells you that the account is provided for you, and you can upload it to it. You're going to be creating your portfolio on this website. You are going to be utilizing it to create your class projects for web design. Ultimately, it will be a place where you can design your portfolio website and showcase all of your skills. While you're in school, we will be utilizing it to create those projects. So you can save those files and make them a part of your portfolio and things like that. You need to remember that this is a school account, so it's for school purposes only. Using the hosting account for any other purpose may result in non-related content being deleted. Continued violation may result in the account being deactivated and all content deleted. Remember, the content is monitored, and inappropriate content will not be tolerated. If you drop school, your account will be deactivated and all content will be deleted. Activating your account is notification of accepting these policies. So let's get started here. Now that you have the do's and don'ts, and this, guys, this is about your web hosting service while you're in school is going to be used to create class projects. It's going to be used to showcase your skills as a web designer by creating a portfolio with this website. So if you own some sort of side business or something like that, you cannot use this website to advertise that business. You can't set up a website for that business on this web hosting account. This is for school purposes only, and as you as a web designer making your portfolio. Step 1 is to go to webhostingforstudents.com IU. Oh, and it's going to take me out of this page. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go back. There we go. Webhostingforstudents.com. In that email, I told you how long you were set up for. You need to click on the plan that you were signed up for. If you click on that plan, you have to enter your site name. This is going to be your first and last name. That's the only thing it can be. If you choose something other than your first and last name, it will be changed. And you are a subdomain of iugraphicarts.com. So what your URL will look like is going to be your first and last name .iugraphicarts.com. So you simply type your first and last name, no spaces, no underscore. Just type it right there after the HTTP. If for some reason your first and last name have been taken, add a number after it or add your middle name or your middle initial, something like that. Now, once you've submitted the domain name and it's been accepted, you're going to be brought to your review and checkout screen. You are going to make sure you click on the apply promo code, which on that website screen is at the bottom, right there. Once you click that apply promo code, you're going to enter the voucher number that I included in your email. And you're going to hit OK after you enter that apply promo. And then you're going to fill out the information. You can use your home address, or if you do not want to use your actual physical address, you can use the school address, which is right there. I can't draw this one, which is right there. And it's my computer. Okay, you can use the school address in place of your home address if you would like. You can just put that in there. You need to make sure your school says Independence University. It's going to ask you web courses, and you're going to put your current web course. So you would be putting PRG 140. Make sure you use an email address that you do check often. Don't use some sort of temporary email address, because you're going to need that for directions on uploading cPanel stuff and things like that. So make sure you use an email address that you actually get email to. Once you filled in all of that, sorry guys. Once you filled in all of that, you're going to come to this payment details page. You're going to click PayPal. You're going to put a check mark next to I've agreed to the terms of services, and then you're going to hit complete order. You do not have to have a PayPal account. You are not going to be charged through PayPal. It is the only way the voucher will work. So you have to click on PayPal. It's not going to ask you to sign in. It's not going to ask you to create an account. You're just going to make sure you click PayPal, make sure you put a check mark that you've read the terms and services, and you're going to do complete order. Of course, take a minute and actually read those terms and services. Don't just check mark it. Web Hosting for Students has its own set of rules that are above and beyond those of the school. So be sure you look those over, and then do complete order. And then you're going to get an order confirmation page. And you need to write down your order number. Your order number will be in blue, in a blue bar, right there on the web page. Write down that order number. A confirmation email will also be sent to you, but write down that order number just in case for some reason the email doesn't get sent to you and you have an issue with your account. You are going to need that order number. Make sure you write it down. And then you will receive an email from cPanel on your domain, whatever your website address is, saying that the auto SSL has been renewed. This email indicates that your account has been successfully set up and is ready to use. Your final step is, once you receive that email, you need to email me, your instructor, and let me know that you have successfully activated your account. If you are having trouble setting it up or didn't receive an email with your confirmation invoice, you need to contact Web Hosting for Students and open a support ticket. I cannot solve that problem. You will have to go through their support, and that's actually very easy to do. Let's go back to Web Hosting for Students. And once you go to their home page, let me go back here and go to their actual home page. On their home page, you just have to click on support. And it has some options: logging in trouble, setting up email, upgrading, all of that. But over here on the right-hand side, it has a section that says, didn't work, open a support ticket. Just click on that, open support ticket, and it'll allow you to open a ticket, and you can just tell them, I didn't receive my confirmation email, but I set up my account, give them your website address, and give them your order number that you copied down from that confirmation screen. And they will take care of it. It does not take very long. And this will remain the same. You only ever have to do it once. It's not like Adobe where you're going to have to redo this every single year. This will automatically renew, and there's not anything you'll have to do to it. So now let's take a look at your web hosting account. Oops. Oh, I changed this. Oops, I forgot. And I'm going to have to do a forgot password, guys. Sorry. I changed my password because a student was having issues with their MySQL Workbench. So I allowed them to use my web hosting service because it has MySQL Workbench on it, which is what I'm going to be showing you guys in just a second. Let me reset my email. Yeah, come through. Okay, now log in. There we go. This is what your screen looks like once you've logged in. You've got your hosting, your domain, your support tickets. If you click on My Hosting and you click on Manage Product, and then over here on the right-hand side, you click on Log into cPanel. This will take you to your cPanel. And as you can see, there is the MySQL data stuff. And in your next class, you will be using this. But you can manipulate a MySQL database using the PHP admin panel. And you can see there's a few different databases. And you can manipulate them. Click on Query tab. And actually, we can click on the SQL tab. It makes it a little easier. And say select from guide. And go. And there's our results. And there is all sorts of stuff up here. There's the structure. If you wanted to export, format SQL, you could export it in all kinds of stuff. You could export it as a PHP array. You can look at operations. Any kind of triggers that you may have. Our database doesn't have any, but you could see it. You could look at it like that. Now, this is our query. get auto saved query. And we can hit go. And here's our result. Now, the neat thing about using your web hosting on this query is that right here you can say create PHP code. And look at that. There is the PHP code you would be using to help display that information on a website. Now then, let's hit my back button. You can also, if for some reason you're not understanding, that's what I love this web hosting service, because it has an explain SQL button. It's not gonna, it will tell you a lot about what the query you've written, things like that. This one doesn't have any specific columns, so there's not a whole lot of information that for it to give because it's a generic select statement. But it's telling you that it was a simple select because it's generic, that you chose the guide table. It's where you got your information from. You're choosing all the columns, possible keys, and how many rows of data are there. There's 10. Now, this is the PHP part of your cPanel. There are your file manager, your disk usage, your web disk, your FTP connections. There are none active, and yours are all going to say that until you set this up, and that's done in one of your classes, where you can set up your actual FTP information. You've got your file manager. If for some reason you ever forget your domain name, which is your website address, you can look at your domains and find it. You can set up aliases. Let's see, subdomains, and under subdomains you can see your domain. So there's my website address right there. And then it even has an email. At some point you're going to have to set up this email because you will be receiving stuff from your contact form to this email. But it's not an email that I would suggest you get in the habit of using all the time right now, in case something happens and you end up dropping or changing schools, because you're going to lose all of this. And then, of course, there's the metrics. You will be able to, once you get your portfolio uploaded and you start sharing your website address, you can track your visitors using the metrics and things like that. You can look at the errors that are on your website, your bandwidth, all of that kind of good stuff. And web hosting for students is awesome. And if you're wondering what happens after I graduate, well, after you graduate, everybody's account is set up so that they have web hosting for students for about 6 months for free after they graduate. And then you guys can actually purchase your own web hosting. It would change your web address to just your first and last name.com and get rid of that IU graphic arts. And I can tell you right now that web hosting for students is so much cheaper than any other web hosting service out there you will ever find. Yep, you can find a whole lot of them that are, when you sign up, cheaper than web hosting for students. I think it's like $50 a year through web hosting for students. And that's about a third of what it'll cost you the second year when you have to renew your web hosting on a regular web hosting service like PalWeb or GoDaddy or anything like that. What happens is they advertise these, you know, sign up for web hosting and pay $36 a year or $20 a year. Well, that's an awesome price. It is. But 12 months later, when it's time to renew that web hosting service, they want you to pay $100 and something. I use, I have, what's it called? eHost. I am using eHost right now. And when I signed up, it was very cheap. And of course, this year I just got my bill for my 12-month renewal, and it's $100 and something. And I also have another site that is on iPage. It costs $100 something for that a year. And if you guys are wondering, well, why don't you just switch every year and get cheaper? Well, because once you've registered your domain with a certain web hosting service, it is a pain to have it transferred to a new web hosting service. And depending on the web hoster, they may not even allow you to transfer that domain name, which means that you either go through the hassle and the months it takes to get a domain name transferred from one web hosting service to another, or you come up with a new website address. And that is not a great idea when you're trying to advertise yourself, because you're always changing your website name. And so people that you talked to before can't find you any longer because your website address has changed. I can guarantee you that web hosting for students, it's a one-time, lifetime kind of thing. Your price isn't going to go up. I think it's $50 a year. Hosting. Let's see if we can go to this without an account. It's $25 a year. And then I think after you graduate, it goes up to $50 a year. Student plans, teacher plans. Nope, maybe it stays at $25 a year. I can guarantee you it is not, you're not going to find that any cheaper. You'll be lucky to find that cheaper even when one of the web hosting advertising for your first year pay this amount. I think they charge $10 for your domain name. So it would cost you $35 the first time. And then I think the domain name is automatically renewed for free. So web hosting for students is awesome, and you're going to have access to those pricing even after you graduate. So keep that in mind if you want to do something like that. If you have any questions, guys, on the web hosting, have any trouble setting it up, or have any trouble uploading files and things like that in the future, please reach out to me. Let me know, and I will get on and help you take a look at it and show you how to operate it and help you troubleshoot whatever's going on. You will be creating WordPress sites with your web hosting service for one of your classes, along with uploading HTML files and things like that. While I am thinking about it, I don't know if you guys are aware. Some of you you're probably all aware that Dreamweaver has quite a few bugs in it lately since its latest update with Adobe, and it is not functioning the way it should be. There is an alternative, guys. You can use CodePen. CodePen is a front-end developer playground. That's what they call it. CodePen is awesome. I use it. I have a professional account on CodePen, but you can sign up for free. There is a free account you can use. And it will allow you, let's see if it will let me log into I think this is not a free account. Mm-hmm. Ah. I don't have my username and password saved on this computer. Let's see if I can get it right. Haha, I did. This is what the free account looks like. And what will happen here is we can look at some pins. When you do pins, it's a way for you to simply practice your coding. Let me go to my dashboard here. Will also allow you to see what other users are doing. But in the pin, it will actually allow you to, let's open this pin here. It will allow you to practice your HTML, your CSS, your JS, just to see what's happening. And it's much like Dreamweaver. It will show you at the bottom of the screen what that's looking like. What's happening when you set that certain amount of code. So let's say we do an H3 here. Like that. And it will put all this information in there for you and show you what you're doing. The pin is great for practicing your CSS or following a tutorial and doing it as it goes. But you can also upload projects, meaning you can bring in HTML files you've already created, or you can actually create them in your project plan. Yep. This is my free account. I already have a project on here. So we're going to have to go to my dashboard. Let's take, there's my project. You can only, on the free account, you can only have one project at a time. But once you have the projects, and you can see it shows you a view of that too. Once you have all the projects in here, you can edit the HTML, or you can actually create it. You can simply do new file, create new, and we're going to say HTML. Oops, where did it go? Create new HTML. Come on. Create a new file in the directories and the buttons in the lower left. Click on a file. I did. Right there. Create a new file. Oh, there it is. And so I need to name it. So maybe I'm going to make the about HTML. And it gives me my file. And it does a lot. It does a lot like Dreamweaver. It doesn't do as much as Dreamweaver does, but it sets up the body. There's your document type. There's your HTML. There's your head content, your head, and so forth. So you can, let's pull this up. I don't want to preview that. I want to preview the about page. me scroll down anymore. Come on. My computer is catching up. Hold on just a second. Okay. So it shows you basically what you need. In the free account, it doesn't look like you can copy it. I wish. Let's see if we can shorten this. Let's see, you type all of that, or it tells you can type HTML:5, then press the tab key to generate basic HTML document. So HTML, oops, 5 tab. And there it is. And that pulls up all of your metadata, your title tags. It does exactly what Dreamweaver does. So now I can bring this back up, and this is where you would do your header. The only thing it doesn't do is your shortcut keys, so that it shows what you're typing, you know, that sort of stuff. My refresh button. I have no CSS, and it looks like it is. I don't have a CSS file on here, so it looks like it is. Let's save it here. There it goes. I had to save it. And you can see it'll put my name in there. So I could just create this page. Once it's created, you can actually export these HTML files so that you can then use your cPanel in your file manager to actually upload those HTML files so that they can go live on the web. You would be uploading them to your public HTML folder. CodePen is awesome. So if you are struggling with Dreamweaver because it's just not doing what you want it to do, you can use CodePen. It will create the exact same files. You will just have to export them, and it will allow you to export them as a zip folder. And you can generate a new zip folder if you need to and name it. And it's like having a site root folder. And that's essentially what it is. And then you're just going to unzip those files and upload them through your cPanel. But this is an alternative to issues going on with Dreamweaver right now. And I know it's complicated because it's not rendering your CSS correctly when you try and test it in the browser, so nothing looks right. CodePen will do it perfectly, and it will look good. And it has all kinds of great tools you can analyze with it. I use CodePen professionally, guys. This is what I use. And now that they're allowing these free accounts, it's really awesome. It's great for students. And while you can only have one project at the time, just make sure that you export every project. You save it. And then you just go into your dashboard. Once that project is done and completed, you exported that zip file, you can simply delete it. Are you sure you want to delete this project? Deleting this project will delete the files within the metadata, like hearts and views and all traces in your CodePen. It is irreversible. If you are sure you want to type, you have to type the words delete project. I understand the consequences of this project. It deletes it. Now it will allow you to make a brand new project. You just cannot have more than one project at a time. Just make sure you always export your final files before you delete a project. But this is an alternative, guys, and this will be introduced in some of your classes that you're going to take, because a lot of the instructors know about CodePen now, and they are getting up to date with it because Dreamweaver is causing so many issues right now. It's freezing, it's shutting down, it doesn't render the CSS correctly. There's just a lot of things going on there that make it really difficult for you as students and us as instructors to teach you when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but when we try and show it to you guys in the browser, it's not right. That makes things very complicated for not only you to understand, but us to teach, because we have to explain to you that this is right, I promise it's right, and you're thinking, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right to us either, and we have to explain all that. It just makes it a little hard to absorb all the information you need to absorb. So a lot of other instructors have started using CodePen, so you may start seeing it in some of your classes. Any HTML editor will work. I mean, you can use any HTML or even Notepad if you had to. I don't necessarily. I like CodePen because it shows you the view. It shows you what your website would look like when you're coding it. Kind of like Dreamweaver in that live preview. Well, this does a live preview for you. And it looks awesome. It renders correctly, way better than Dreamweaver's. And it's going to show you exactly what you're looking at. So CodePen is really, really awesome for that. Another thing CodePen is really, really, really good for is looking to see what everybody else is doing. If you click on the little cube up there, it will show you picked pins, and you can see what everybody else is doing. Here's the little animation stuff. So you click on that. Let's get it open here. And sorry guys, this is a combination of a little bit of CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. And that's what this animation is. And you see over here, the HTML is simply made up wave body, eye, mouth, wave arm, arm. Well, let's take a look at their CSS. And the best thing about this, guys, is you can actually edit it and change things. So you've got color, Dodger blue. Well, what if I wanted to make the guy red? And I can hit run. And you can see my changes. I turned into red. It does not mess up their code or anything like that. And then if you go down, let's see, we're looking, here is your first bit of JavaScript right here. There's a nice JavaScript function that does a text shadow. And we keep going, return, there's the rest of your JavaScript. And then we start seeing our actual CSS. There's the eyes. There's the mouth. Body, there's the wave. And this is just a great way to learn by looking at examples and see what they did to create this animation and use that technique on something else. There are tons of projects like this all throughout here, and there are plenty of web stuff too. You're going to get a lot of the creative stuff with eyes, animations, with animating, with CSS or with JavaScript or a combination of both. You've got some responsive stuff going on. You've got a grid example. So this is using the new CSS grid framework. You can see the CSS through here and see what they've done. Using that CSS grid stuff. And there are also job postings. This is the job board. There's Spark, which is mobiles, motion, and motels. And this is a pretty great learning place to learn new stuff. I think let's go to CodePen again. You can learn all sorts of stuff using this Explore feature. It will let you explore pins, which are just simple stuff like I just showed you. You can explore projects, which are multi-paged and much more lengthy. And things like that. This is just, CodePen is awesome, guys. So I would suggest that you check it out, kind of play with it, see what you think about it. You should always have multiple tools as a web designer, especially multiple things you can code in, because it is not uncommon for HTML editors to have issues and for things to stop working and not working when you need them to work. And so you have to jump over to your backup that you're using. CodePen is awesome. And you can use it as a free account until you're making enough money to buy a pro account. That way you can have as many projects on there going at one time as you want. Otherwise, you just have to remember, zip the files, export them to your computer before you start a new project. Okay, guys, well, if you have any questions, just let me know. If you need any help, again, I'm here for you this week, so you just need to let me know when you can meet with me, and I will make sure that I'm available. I will see you guys later.